Yeah, there's a level of energy that changes. That's what you're speaking of there. We make a big deal out of this, but it's just something has changed, and their seeing is much greater than it was before. We make a great big deal about that change, but it's not a big deal at all. It's a big deal to the person that has changed for a short while, because they believe the end has come for them, generally speaking. So their capacity of seeing is much vaster than it was prior to that movement. So going from a glimpse of recognising a greaterness that they were not living, to where that greaterness is much more readily available to them throughout their daily living. Initially, when it occurs, and it's different for every being that it occurs to, there's always different flavours. So the difference, initially when it occurs, it's so blindingly new for the recipient that without them realising it, because it's so much more than it was before that, without them seeing what they do, they project all sorts of other stuff on top of it, which isn't quite so true. And it takes time for that to settle. It's been 17 years in my case. Now, there hasn't been 17 years of, well, it has been of levels of blindness for sure, but it's, back in the early days, it's so different, and the pre-classroom and the now classroom is so vastly different, and you can see humanity and where it's lost and what it's doing to itself. What people are choosing for themselves and how they're stuck. But as we keep living within this newness, it becomes less new. So it becomes very ordinary, and then we awaken to more of what this is that is going on here. Again, to do with our willingness. It's always to do with our willingness. As we can sit here and say, there's no one here, and that be true in a given moment, but it's the next moment that counts when we're not being quite that true. And this is an individual thing. It's we are where we are from the point of incarnation, from the point of the mind-body package that we find ourselves flowing through. So we can say that we're clearer than what we are, or we can say that we're less clear than what we are, but it makes no odds. We are at the level of our capacity of recognition of what we are in any given moment. And the deeper that is, and it only can be deeper through realisation on a momentary basis, the deeper that becomes, which is a convolution of words because there is no deepening of who you are, it already is. But the more we're living in and as that, the more we're moving in the dance of life from that place of clarity, well, the greater the clarity that you're capable of seeing of what you are. And it is. It's vast. It's hugely vast.